What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Goblin, and today I'm coming in with a story time for you guys about my first time candy flipping. Now, before I dive into this video, I would like to mention a couple things. First off, I hope you guys are enjoying the double uploads today, and I will be continuing that for the next 2 days straight and still daily uploading, of course. And also drop a like on this video if you do enjoy, and ask me questions for my next Q&A. I'm probably going to make my Q&A videos maybe a weekly thing is what I'm hoping for. So just use the hashtag AskGoblin and hit me up with some questions in the comment section below. The way that I do find questions is I actually go into the comments thing on my little creator dashboard, and I type in hashtag AskGoblin, and I can filter it to find comments across all my videos with hashtag AskGoblin in them. So that's how I use my Q&A questions. That's how I find them. So if you do want to get your question answered, that's really the only way to do it besides Twitter. So I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Drop a like if you enjoy, and let's dive into it. So before I go any further, I also want to mention what candy flipping is. For those of you who don't know, candy flipping is when you take acid and Molly at the same time. And I mean, not necessarily the same exact time, like you got a tab on your tongue and you like pop some ecstasy or like a cap of Molly, but you know, eventually, like once the trip hits you, you take the Molly and then the Molly hits you. So this is going to be a multiple part story, probably a 2 or 3 part story, because the whole night was just fucking eventful. And I don't even know if I'm going to get to the part where I candy flip in this video, but I'm going to get to the part where I pop the acid, of course, because that's how this is going to start. So hope you guys enjoy, and let's dive into it. So now, this was fairly recent, all right? This was, I want to say, I don't know, it was pretty recent either way, like maybe a month ago, and I was hanging out with my buddy. We're going to call him Andy, and Andy is my connect for all sorts of psychedelics. He's a really good guy, really good friend of mine, and he's got really good psychedelic stuff that I can rely on. So whenever he gets in a new batch of acid or a new batch of Molly, I trust it, and I try it for him, and sometimes he'll hook me up for free, and he's a real good fucking guy, you know? So I'm hanging out with him. He was like, hey bro, come pick me up, just got some new L. So I was like, alright dude, I'll take you to go pick it up. He's like, alright, sounds good. So we drove over to where he had to get the acid from, and he busts out a sheet, and it was beautiful. The design on it was fucking beautiful. So he tosses me 3 tabs. I paid him, and he was like, all right, let's trip a little bit. So he's driving at this point. I'm in shotgun. I popped 2 tabs, and he told me that the dosage on him was 160 UG, which is a pretty fucking high dose for a tab of acid. The average tab of acid is around 100 UG, give or take. I mean, sometimes it can be a little lower, like 80 or 90. Sometimes it can be a little higher, but that's typically an average good dose for tab of acid that's worth your investment. So this was essentially a double dose tab, almost, and I popped 2 of them, and I was really looking forward to this. This is my first time tripping in a little while, and I knew we'd just gotten some Molly. So we were sitting there cruising around a little bit. We had to bust a couple moves, make a couple stops, and the acid hit me, and I was having a really good trip so far at this point. We were just cruising around. He was going around, giving some people some acid, you know, just doing his thing, not going to go too far into that. And I was sitting shotgun, just listening to the music, you know, looking at the lights, watching the cars go by, and just having a good time. We were just chilling, talking, smoking a little bit. And then he was like, all right, we got to go serve this dude a little bit of Molly. Now, this guy, okay, is the biggest crackhead I've ever fucking met in my life. Like, I really thought I knew what a crackhead was. Until this guy came running out of his house, all right? So we're sitting there in the parking lot of this dude's little, like, apartment building or whatever it was, and he's capping up a little bit of Molly for him. I think he wanted, like, I don't know how many caps, but either way, all of a sudden, this guy, I've seen him a couple times, but I don't really remember his name. Like, I've only met him through my friend here, my friend Andy. So this dude, all right, comes running out, and we called him on the phone, and my buddy Andy put him on speaker. He's like, dude, listen to this guy, and he sounds barred out. This man sounds absurd, and I'm tripping. So this is just a hilarious situation to me. Like, this is just priceless. I'm loving this. This guy's on the phone talking slow as fuck, messing up his words, so we can only imagine how fucked up he is. So we pull up to the dude's apartment building. We're waiting outside. My buddy calls him. He's like, hey, we're outside. He's like, okay, I'll be out in 1 second. He's this Indian dude with a kind of thick accent, but he's pretty cool. So he comes running out of this apartment building, like, and I mean sprinting to the car in his boxers and a t-shirt. Like, literally, this dude's like stumbling while he's running in nothing but boxers and a t-shirt. I think he was even barefoot, but I know he didn't have shoes on, so it was either barefoot or in socks. But he came bolting out, and we look up because we like heard him open the door, and we're like, oh my god, this crackhead motherfucker. Like, imagine if this guy just looked so bewildered and just out of it. Like, he just had no clue what was occurring. Like, he looked so bewildered. Like, he had the look on his face of shock, as if, like, you took a man from the 1800s before flying was invented, you gave him a time machine, and he used it and then appeared in an airplane and he was about to skydive. Like, that kind of bewildered. Like, that dude would just be like, what the fuck? Like, this was the look on this man's face. And he opens the back seat of the car, or the back door, excuse me, and dives into the back seat. Like, he's laying sideways, and he's like, well, what's up, man? How you doing? He's, like, stuttering every fucking word. Like, literally, he's like, what's up, guys? How you doing? Hey! And he's, like, turned up, and my buddy Andy is like, dude, what are you off right now? Because he didn't really, like, specify, and he's like, I've been barred out for 3 fucking days. And I'm like, what? Like, this fucking guy, dude, like, I could never imagine being barred out for that fucking long. And this dude loves bars. Like, I've hung out with this guy before a little bit. Like, I've seen him, so, like, I still don't really know his name. He's just kind of like an acquaintance, like a friend of a friend kind of thing. But, I mean, I know this guy's a fucking bar-tard, and his plan was he was gonna mix the Molly with the bars. And my friend Andy was like, dude, you're fucking insane. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do here, but, I mean, have some fun. And this guy literally, the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, when he gets out of the car, he takes the Molly, stuffs it in his boxers, and gets out of the car, and he shakes up with us. He's like, all right, peace out, guys, and starts running back to the doors of his apartment building with Molly just falling out of his pants. Who the fuck knows if you realized it was falling? But we could see it. We could see, because, like, we didn't even give him a bag. My buddy was like, do you want a bag? And he's like, no, dude, just put it in my hand. So this guy stuffs it in his fucking boxers and is just running with a hand down his boxers and shit just, like, falling out. And we're just laughing our asses off. Like, the funniest shit I've ever seen. So after this, we ended up leaving and cruising for a little bit, trying to find some plans, trying to find something to do, because I was tripping pretty hard at this point. I was feeling incredible. And I knew that my buddy had Molly, and he suggested that we candy flip. And that wasn't my intention going into the night, but I was like, hell yeah, dude. I mean, let's try it. I'm having a really great trip already. Molly sounds great. We just needed to find a place where we could kick it, listen to some music, and have some fun. So I was like, fuck yeah. So I hit up my homie. We're going to call him Chad. And I called up Chad, and I'm like, hey, Chad, I'm with Andy right now. Is it cool if we slide through? He was like, yeah, dude, come on over. We could kick it in my house, smoke a little bit, chill in my garage. I was like, all right, that sounds fucking awesome. So me and Andy's driving the car. I'm in shotgun. We go over to Chad's house, and Chad is kicking it. He's about to leave because his family's about to leave too. And we were going to go meet up with a couple other kids who Chad knew, and I knew too. Andy didn't know these kids so well, but they were cool, so I was going to introduce them. It didn't really matter. So we went over to Chad's house, linked up with him a little bit, smoked a square, and then we got back in my car at this point. And I don't really smoke squares anymore, but I mean, when I'm tripping, and especially when you're off Molly, I wasn't off it yet, but also when you're tripping, cigarettes are just so nice. Like, I couldn't resist it at this point. So I was fucking sitting there, and we were in the car, and we went up to meet up with these 2 other friends. We're going to call them, oh God, what are we going to call them? We're going to call them John and Neil. All right, so we were kicking it with John and Neil, and we drove up to the McDonald's that was right next to Chad's house. And John and Neil were like, what's up? What you guys doing? And we were all kicking it, and John busts out this fat ass blunt. Like, he put some wax in that bitch, and he busts out, there had to be at least like 2.5, 3 grams in this blunt. It wasn't regular Swisher paper. I don't know what kind of paper he rolled this thing in, but it was fat. And he was like, you guys want to go smoke? And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. So we knew this nice little path in the forest where we could go walk around, and it just had super nice views. And they all, you know, I suggested it at first. I was like, dude, we should go to the path. That's what we call it, because it's just the spot where you want to go when you're tripping. And my buddies were all like, you know, Chad was like, oh yeah, I forgot, Nick's tripping. We should definitely hit the path, because it was super nice out. It was only like 70 degrees, nice little breeze, perfect outside, real sunny. And I wanted to go to the fucking path. I'd never been to this spot when I was tripping. So my friends were like, all right, fuck yeah, let's go to the path. So we all hopped in the car that Andy was driving. I was sitting shotgun. We had 3 homies in back, cruising it, banging some music. And I still hadn't dropped the Molly yet, but I think I'm going to end this story here and get into that into part 2 of the candy flipping story. So hope you guys do enjoy this video. Drop a like, and don't forget to ask me questions using hashtag AskGoblin in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.